Good morning, everyone. This little segment, I guess, we'll be talking about tips for storytelling for leaders. And in those, I want to give you some practical tips. I want you to have some things that you can take straight into work, use that same very day. And but to get this started, what's really important is that we know what this story thing is. A number of times I go into organisations and they talk about stories, but they actually don't use stories. It's frustrating. It drives me crazy, right? So I'll give you an example. Did some work for a big insurance company over in the US. They wanted to show me their storytelling project. Anyway, went along, had a look at their storytelling project. It was a group of employees sitting on couches talking to the video camera. And they started off by saying things like, this company, it's fantastic to work for. We really love working here. There's great cafeteria. We have fantastic sort of life plans and insurance and all those things that go with working for this company. And the people who had collected these, what they thought were stories, were looking at me like, hey, this is great, isn't it? And I had to tell them, guys, it's not a story. Just because you're talking doesn't mean it's a story. A story actually has to have some key elements. And this is the first tip, because with this information, you will be able to spot stories, okay? Here it is, 4 things you need to look out for to know whether you've got a story. First of all, stories nearly always start with a time marker, right? As soon as someone says, just the other day, or on Tuesday, or in 1991, that's potentially a good chance that is a story, a beginning of a story. The second thing is that if it's not a time marker, it's sometimes a place marker. So they'll sort of say, Bob walked into the conference room. We're down in the back shed. I was at Mary's house. Now, as soon as you hear that, there's a good chance we're going to hear a story. Now, that's not enough. Okay, now you've got to have a set of events, things that actually happened. This happened, then that happened, then this happened. Okay, when you start to hear those events, those happenings, you're pretty sure you're in a story. Third thing, stories have characters. Okay, people. As soon as you see people in what they're saying. Now, the best indicator is when you hear dialogue. Right? We do dialogue all the time in our stories, okay? So I'll be sort of saying, I was chatting to my colleague Mark the other day, and what he said to me was, and then I'll do the Mark dialogue. Now, you actually can't provide dialogue in any other way than in a story. So when you hear dialogue, you're in a story, okay? This helps you spot stories. And the last one is that there has to be something in it which is a bit unanticipated, right? Like if I tell you a series of events and there's nothing there that you go, oh, okay, didn't realise that was going to happen. Well, it's not quite a story, it's just a series of events. So those sort of things, those 4 key points, you can start spotting stories. And I have to say, it's a bit of a curse as well as a benefit, because from here on in, you will see stories all over the place. You'll be spotting them left, right and centre, but without that key skill, you cannot use story work. Enjoy your storytelling.